Hello, you are watching Articulate Coven Afterlife. This is a Patreon exclusive segment that, because we have timed it out right, we are now offering to you on YouTube. You might notice, since I'm wearing a Mardi Gras shirt, that you are way behind our patrons. We have covered Welcome to Derry, the It television series from HBO Max, its first season. We're going to be covering Castle Rock from Hulu. We're going to be covering Heated Rivalries from HBO Max. We're going to be covering Stranger Things, just in a one-off episode from Netflix. We're going to be talking about the series Hemlock Grove, which Ashley and I have both wanted to talk about in the past and have never gotten around to. So all of that and more is coming up exclusively for our patrons. When we finish an individual series set of discussions for our patrons, and all of them have been released, we'll probably start releasing them week to week for YouTube, just like we're doing with this video that you're watching right now. You can get them early, ad-free, all of our stuff more often at articulatecoven.com/join. $2 or more a month gets you access to everything we do. If you're not in a position to support the show financially, then keep supporting it right here. Like this video, give us some hype, share the channel with your friends. Thanks, everybody, and enjoy the video. Welcome to Articulate Coven Afterlife. We are your hosts. I'm Joel.
Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven. Ashley, I've been watching the weirdest, longest Stephen King adaptation that he didn't make any money on. It's really unfair for everybody involved.
It's wild. I love Stranger Things so much. And you're right. I have been watching it since the beginning. I've been watching it since season 1 came out.
And you were watching all of them like as they released,
they released. Yeah, absolutely. And I went so hard on that first season, like watched it so many times, like waiting for the second season to come out. And oh, it's just such a great story. It's just like overall, like the overall overarching story is just incredible. It makes me so happy.
It really is very satisfying, the whole thing. I had heard some naysayers for the finale in particular, in the second part of the final season versus the first part, which I will say, I think the first part was more, I don't know, direct. It seemed more motivated, more forceful, whatever. They had a little less steam in the second half of the final season.
Yeah, but it was wrapping up, you know.
Yeah.
They wanted to finish the story too. Like they didn't want it to just end. They wanted to finish it, you know.
It's so impossible to wrap up successfully a journey this long. You've had something that's been 5 seasons plus now, and you've got so many various characters who have had so many various story arcs, and you're trying to bring all of that together in some way, and wrap it all up. Like I sort of poo-pooed it a little bit for the Lord of the Rings syndrome, where we have 19 endings, right?
Yeah.
There was a specifically about the finale. We're on the roof. We're on the roof with the older kids, okay? And it's like Steve and Nancy and, you know, that group is up there on the roof talking to each other about their future. And I sort of found myself a little bummed because I realized that was a satisfying conclusion where we were right there. I was like, oh, this is kind of happy. There's 25 minutes more worth of story. I know for a fact, because there's 7 more characters that all have to have a happy ending, you know? So first and foremost, let's start back at the beginning. Why did this become a phenomenon? I think by far it's Netflix's most successful franchise, right? It's the thing they've done that's had the most cultural impact, I would say.
Oh, 100%, 100%. It, you know, when that first season came out, it was so different from anything else that was out at that time. And you know, I think a lot of people were like, we're beefing with the finale because and with the last few episodes they thought more people should die, you know, like that was literally, and the guys talked about it, the Duffer Brothers talked about it. They're like, no, this was never about killing children. That was not what our story was about. Like, I think you might have missed the whole fucking point if you thought this was supposed to be Game of Thrones. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's pretty legit. You know, this is a story about growing up, and they can't grow up if you kill them all, you know?
Well, I mean, in the It novel, those kids last through 2 rounds of
Mhm.
intergalactic warfare, and one of them dies the whole time, So, like, what our main group anyway.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't think you needed a ton of sacrifice. And along the way, we have had sacrifices for our core group of
Yeah.
heroes of different
They've lost
kinds.
important people around them, and they've lost security, and they've lost
Yeah.
homes, they've lost, like
I mean, putting Max on the bench for so long was, I think, a huge thing to do, and
Yeah.
and was very effective, honestly. Um, okay, I want to start with this. This show, we've mentioned several times already that it's got a lot of Stephen King in it, but even more so than the Stephen King, I think it's got a lot of
It
Amblin in it,
oh,
Amblin
yes,
Entertainment, right? This
100%.
is E.T.,
Just
this is Goonies.
80s stuff in general is the vibe, and it's not just because it's set in the 80s, it's, like, very referential to, like, all of those movies that we watched growing up, which is, I think, one of the reasons why it had such a broad appeal right off the bat. It felt so nostalgic. We could all see ourselves in that basement, even if you never played Dungeons& and Dragons, you could see yourself in that basement hanging out with your friends.
Or you could see yourself as the cool kid who
Yeah,
feels out of place because he's got all these responsibilities to live up to, and he's
right.
really just a dude who doesn't understand his place in life, et cetera, et cetera. Like, yeah, I think man, the growth of characters like Steve in
Oh,
particular,
man, I love that character. I fucking lo
going back and watching
What a
season 1 is
douchebag.
so hard. He's
Yeah.
such a dick in season 1.
When he like, and when that turn happens in season 2 and he and Dustin, like, he's, like, forced into that situation where he's having to help Dustin is literally one of the smartest things they ever fucking did, was making that a relationship that they carried through the entirety of the rest of the show. And Steve turning into this big brother mom of the year kind of kind of character for these kids is just fucking awesome. I love it so much. I love that they took time to do different pairings of different characters throughout the course of the entire thing, but they were really good about that this last season. I loved getting to see Mike and Robin together, you know, being able to talk about not Mike,
Will and
Will,
Robin,
Will and
yes.
Robin, and like and Will being able to have that sounding board to get up the courage to come out. And there's so many things to just love about how they structured it. But it does, yeah, it feels like the big vibe for me is Goonies, like right off the bat. These kids on bikes running around getting into shit, like
Okay, the other one that I want to make sure you know about, if you're maybe especially a younger viewer of this, you need to go and watch Flight of the Navigator.
oh,
Flight of the Navigator was a
I haven't
Disney
watched that in
movie.
years. It's so
I haven't
good.
watched it in a long time either. Pee Wee Herman voices one of the computer, the ship itself, but it is a movie about a kid with those strange feelings of isolation and like being the odd one out. It's a story about being stuck in the 80s. It's a story about time travel in some strange
Yeah,
ways.
it's a great adventure.
It's also a story about loss in a way that I think Stranger Things does a really good job of connecting to. I'm but let's talk about Barb for a second. Like, Barb disappears in episode 2, I guess. Episode 3, she doesn't last long.
She
Is it
doesn't
the
last
first
long.
episode?
No, it's not the first one, but
But like,
it's pretty
she's out.
quick. Yeah.
She's out early. And yet, all the way to the finish, her loss resonates. And not just with Nancy, but especially for Nancy. It's like Barb's loss is what sends Nancy on her entire journey
Right.
effectively. Um,
100% does. It's her that's her driving force going into season 2, is
yeah.
trying to figure out how to help her parents find out what really happened to her. Oh,
And Nancy's combination of determination, it's two things. It's not just one, it's both things. I have to be aware of where the wrongs are, and I have to be prepared to fight them myself.
Yeah.
Nobody is coming. Nobody is coming to save me. Nancy, man, the moment in the finals, they're headed into the final battle in the
Oh,
finale, and Mike is asking for some weaponry, and she hands him the flare gun.
flare gun.
But like, he's looking at her and she's like, "What?" And he was just looking for the gun. But the thing that struck me, and I don't think the timing was right for him to have said this, but like he should have been like, "You look like Sarah Connor," like
I
because
mean,
that is what she looks like. That's
she
clearly what they were
yes,
doing.
and or Ripley is who she was giving me
Ah, good
big
call. The
Ripley
hair is very
vibes.
Ripley. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
She was giving me, like, Ripley with the flamethrower vibes. I fucking
Yeah.
love Nancy Wheeler. What a badass bitch she turned out to be. You know, like, not she started off as that sweet girl with the bangs and the cardigan. Badass
Uh,
bitch.
Okay, so I mentioned Sarah Connor. Let's talk a little bit about like their seasonally guest stars
Oh,
or bringing
yes.
in these icons of the '80s. So we had Matthew Modine's the first one, I guess, really,
Mhm.
right in
Well,
season one.
and
Although
season
Winona
1
Ryder,
yeah, season 1 was all about fucking getting Winona Ryder back. You know, we hadn't
yeah.
seen something from Winona Ryder in years, you know?
I mean, had she still been sort of blackballed from the
I
Free
mean,
Winona thing?
that had been so long ago.
Yeah, that's what. But
I mean, if you don't
she
know,
hadn't
Winona
really.
Ryder shoplifted something back in the, like, the late '90s, early 2000s, and it turned into
Yeah, I
this
mean, it may have
whole
been the early 2000s, but
yeah.
yeah, it was a long time ago though,
Yeah, a
and
really long time ago, and, the fact that, like but it really fucked with her work for a long time, and this was the first thing I really remember her seeing, and it felt like ages, like, probably, like, 5 at least 5 years.
okay, I have not heard Winona speak on it specifically, but I have wondered several times before Stranger Things and after Stranger Things started to blow up. Was she any part of the Weinstein fallout? Like, was there
Mm,
a negative interaction with Weinstein
I don't
maybe that
know.
ended up putting her on the bench? I don't know.
I
But
don't
I wouldn't
know.
be surprised to know
No.
that. Obviously, it's affected lots of other women.
Yeah.
She, though, had a history of being incredibly talented and yet also
Oh,
sort of problematic at times, right?
yeah.
She had had a couple of
Little
bad
party
sort
girl, a
of
little bit of
nervous
a party
breakdowns.
girl, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
She was supposed to be in Godfather 3. We've talked about this before. She was supposed to be um 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 the daughter
yeah,
of Michael Corleone in Godfather 3 and was on set, had begun filming and she was going through a nervous breakdown and had to leave, and that's why we got Sofia Coppola in that movie. Like that wasn't the only film that happened to. I think the filming
yeah.
of Dracula might have been delayed because of a Winona factor too. So
Yeah,
like,
there was things definitely happening, but this was so exciting for me because I always loved her. She was one of my favorite actors when I was growing up. Just loved her in everything. She was in so many iconic like movies for our age, you know, like for our age group. You know, Heather's is fucking brilliant. Like
oh
that
my god,
movie,
the
I was
Beetlejuice,
Beetlejuice,
freaking Scissorhands, Edward Scissorhands. She's so
yeah,
good in that.
she's so lovely in that. You know, like, yeah,
Mm.
she's just Lucas was one of the first things I ever saw her in. Have you ever seen Lucas with,
I don't know that I have.
oh my gosh, it's a really good, like, sad '80s movie with a, you know, a nerdy kid. I'm trying to remember which one of the '80s boys it was in it, but she's his, like, only friend in it, and
Mm.
it's fantastic. Lucas is a great one.
Which she's in. Oh, it's is it Mermaids with
Mhm.
Cher?
With Cher. Cher slapped the
Yeah.
shit out of her in that movie.
Man, okay. Anyway, we're big Winona Ryder
We
fans, and
are
she's
big.
so good as um excuse me, as Janice? Is that no, not Janice.
Joyce.
Joyce.
Joyce
I was like,
Byers.
Janice isn't her name, Joyce
Yeah.
Byers. She's so good as Joyce. Okay, in particular, I think it was incredibly important and meaningful that they let her give the killing blow to
Oh,
Henry in the
me
finale.
too. I loved it. Yes.
Also, I liked that it wasn't one swing. She had to
Nope.
chop that motherfucker's
Chop
head off
that.
like 8 times.
Yep.
Yeah,
More than
that's
one
the way
hit.
it should be.
Though that bitch has been carrying around that axe since season 1.
Yeah, yeah. She so often Joyce would get sidelined
Mhm.
because she's not. I mean, this happens in Buffy a lot too, right? When you've got a couple of characters with actual powers and a bunch that don't, like when we get to battling the big guys, what are you going to have them do? There's only so many MacGuffins we can
Yeah.
send them to pick up, right?
And there's, you know, they structure it so that different characters have different important story lines. It's not the same as like Bridgerton as far as like they change leads every season, but it kind of has that like, oh, this season we're all going to be more focused on this person and what's happening to them and like their interactions, like
Yeah.
season as you go along, they just kind of switch the focus. It's like I'm talking about too, changing the group dynamics up, and it does. You do lose some characters in the shuffle. And she was the lead of the first season. I mean, that story was about her trying to find her kid. That story isn't about the little boy that went missing. It's about them trying to
It's
figure
really
out
not.
find him.
Which, in retrospect, you go back and look, those kids were so young. It's
They were
good that it wasn't about the kid.
babies. They
Yeah,
were
like
babies. They were so tiny and precious. Oh my God.
they look so when in the season finale, especially when you would go through and do the little montages and you would see the old scenes, at times I genuinely was like, did they do de-aging here? Is that CG? Like the children looked unreal almost. They
They
were
were
so
so
different in that
tiny.
first season.
Yeah.
Finn, I think especially, man, the moments when he is telling the story at the end about the mage, I can't tell the true story of the mage, and he goes, we see the glimpses of them from the very beginning. Um, boy, that guy, I hope they're treating him good. I hope his parents got their heads on straight. I hope
Yeah.
he's got a good agent and good representation and somebody
Yeah.
watching out for him to make sure the money's going to the right place and that he's not, got
Yeah.
serious drug problems. He is, in my opinion, the most gifted of all the actors of the children's group. It's a great group. The whole group is
They're
great.
all
I think a bunch
great.
of them are going to be stars, but I think Finn Wolfhard is and was the find of
Yeah.
the group.
He's fantastic. He was so fun. I don't know if you watched any of his he hosted SNL a couple weeks ago, and he did a
Yeah.
great job. It was so funny. I was really like, "Hell yeah, get him, kid." I mean, he's like
I
23 now, so it's like
yeah, I know,
they're all
right?
drinking
None of
after the
these.
finale, like
I mean, Millie Bobby Brown's married and I think has a kid now,
she
maybe?
has a
Like, it's
kid.
not,
Yeah,
yeah,
she
these are not
adopted a
children.
baby.
These are not children.
No. They're grown ass
Um,
people.
okay. I, here's a couple of downsides, I would say. I think that, um, I think that they sort of suffered from a similar thing that happened with the Daniel Craig James Bond series. The Daniel Craig James Bond series would have been so much better if they had access to the Spectre characters and storylines from the beginning and had planted seeds to say all of these things that have happened have been connected. And I think the Duffer Brothers maybe had an idea, but I don't think Henry was the original plan. I think this sort of unfolded as they went, and the neat way that it all buttoned up, with the exception that there's a final double twist reveal that there really is a mind flayer and Henry wasn't the real bad
Mhm.
guy from the beginning. Like, I feel like if you had just known or just been confident that maybe we will get the whole storyline, I think there could have been. I think that was a failure. I think overall that idea that this was all from the beginning the same thing does not hit home for me, and I wonder if a rewatch will make that more or less true for myself.
Yeah, I mean, that is interesting. I mean, I've rewatched the show 800 times. I mean, I it's one of my comfort watches. I might pop off here
Nice.
and go start it right now. Like I mean, I'll turn it on when I'm in the tub hanging out, and I love it. Um it 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 just it didn't bother me, and upon rewatches, what I get bogged down in is kind of like the Russian prison of it all. That's kind of like for me where I'm like, this feels like filler, like this just feels like filler. And it's all really good. And it's all, but it just like, that's the season where they lost me a little bit.
You are 1,000,000% right, which is interesting because to my mind, it comes immediately on what is the actual peak of the show. It
Hmm.
comes immediately after that. That's the season 3 arc, and in particular, the finale, where the finale of season 3 is so brilliant because you have all of these people in
That's the
various.
malls. Is that the mall season?
It's the one that ends with Joyce and Hopper blowing up the lab. That's
Oh,
what I was
okay.
talking about, like
Well,
specifically
before
where he
yeah,
gets
before Hopper
zapped
yeah, when
into.
we think Hopper's dead.
Yeah, but I think you're right. That is the mall season as well, right?
I can't
Yes.
remember.
Yes, because it's the Russians from the mall that end up
That's
taking
right.
Hopper to Russia. Yes.
Oh god, I love that. Them fucking I love the introduction of Robin as well
I
that
do too.
season.
It's
I
so
love
it's
Robin.
so great. The build
God.
up to the fact that Robin is not a new love interest, like, is
It's
so
so great.
perfect.
And I love
So
that for
great.
I Steve needs a fucking friend like that, you know.
Yes, he
Oh
did. He
yeah.
really did. Also, it put his friendship with Dustin into a context that
Mhm.
he wouldn't have processed properly without Robin, I think. So that's cool. Hey, I meant to mention this earlier, and we sort of went on to a different topic, but I want to say it because I thought it was such a good observation, and I had missed it. Utah, my oldest daughter, we were watching the finale last night, and she sort of like looks up all of a sudden and turns and looks at us, and she said, Dustin imitates the hairstyle of the person that he most admires. He first does it to look more like Steve at the end
Mhm.
of season 1
Uh-huh.
and going into season 2, and then he grows out the long hair because of Eddie. And then in our future with with Dustin, we see that he's got the hairstyle back. He's looking like Steve again. He's got the coif and he's cut it off a little bit in the back. But like I thought it was such a small moment.
That's
I hadn't
awesome.
noticed, but my kid did, you know. And that is an example of like the care. Here's another good example. In season 3, specifically, one of the reasons why I love that season so much, they do a brilliant job of literally giving us a physical manifestation of every single member of the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
All of them are directly shown on screen at one point. Robin wears Molly Ringwald's outfit from the Breakfast Club at one point when they go to the
When they
when
go
they
to
go
the
to the
to
asylum.
interview this
Yeah,
yeah.
to interview the Creel. Like I don't know. There's the jock is the basketball leader. He
Uh-huh.
looks just like Emilio Estevez. Um, like Eddie looks like frickin' and acts like what's his name
Yeah.
from the slacker. They've got them all covered. They've got them
Yeah.
all covered. It is
Every
fascinating. I love
archetype
it.
is there. That's fantastic. No, you mentioned earlier and we segued away from it, but the guest stars that they would have,
Oh yeah, so Matthew
like
Modine, Winona Ryder, of
Sean
course, but then in
Astin,
season 2 we got Sean Astin,
who
right?
I
He was so good.
he could be in everything and I would be fine with it. I love Sean Astin.
He okay.
I love that
I
character so much.
the character is he's so. First of all, he's just a guy, right? That's
Yeah,
just a guy,
that's just a
but he's a
guy.
good guy. He's a
Yeah.
guy he's Alex Preddy. He's the guy that runs in the direction of the
Well,
danger, and he doesn't
you
have any particular weapons to offer.
you
He's just running.
it's the kind of guy you really want Joyce to get to be with, too. Like, she should be with someone like him who's nice and who cares for her and cares about her
Yes.
kids, you know, like, that
Yes.
you want that for her.
It's
Mm.
honestly, that's the only, like, that relationship was so good, it makes the Hop ending less satisfying. Also, I don't like that actor that plays Hopper anymore, so I'm like,
He has been a douche as of late, for sure.
yeah, apparently
You
he
can
was a douche
listen
for a long
you
time.
can
We just
listen to
know
an
about it more
entire
now.
album about it if you like.
Yeah, right. But okay, so after Sean Astin though, who else do they bring in? They bring in Paul Reiser.
Yeah, Paul Reiser
So and
was
like
on
Paul Reiser, of
uh-huh.
course, was in Mad About You, but particularly he's also in
Aliens.
Aliens. Yeah, he's
Aliens,
so
yeah.
great in Aliens.
Such a dick.
And then finally Lyndall Hamilton, which
Yeah.
by the way, I love that Linda is just doing evil Sarah Connor here. She is the full-on fucking revolutionary general,
She's
except she's
intense.
Goebbels, basically,
She's
you know?
fucking intense. Love
Yeah.
I love that Linda Hamilton has 0 fucks to give about aging. That is my, like, icon right there. She is like, "I'm not putting Botox in my face. That's botulism, kids." And she just is a badass bitch still to this day, and I am, like, what a broad. What a broad.
Don't disagree with any of that. In interests of conversations we've had previously about not seeing someone's circumstances. Linda Hamilton's got all the money in the world, both from her own career and then specifically her divorce from James Cameron. So, like, there's a pile of money behind her fuck you attitude about
Yeah.
aging and everything else. There are a lot of women in Hollywood that need that paycheck, so they put the Botox in
Yeah.
because the boss man said they needed it.
100%.
Yeah, Linda does
She
not
does
have
not
to do
have
that.
to conform.
She does not. She did not need this Stranger Things money, is my point.
No, she's doing this for fun.
It was super satisfying, though, the conclusion in particular, for all of the fact that all of the military characters just get their shit wrecked. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
There are two things about the finale that I thought were particularly artful, or the thing that I thought was the most artful was the story of the mage. So
Oh.
we finished with this D&D game, which was fun, but
I'm gonna
then
cry again. I just
I
cried
know,
from you
right?
just mentioning it earlier.
When Mike tells them the true story of what happens to Elle, and I love, by the way, that they all just couch it as a story. Like, he never comes right out and says, this is what happened to Elle, and this is what happened to, and this is how, blah, blah, blah. He just gives them the framework. And I love that they don't. I love that they very specifically point out that they don't know whether this is true or not. And it's not, he has no reason really to think that this is what happened, other than it could have happened, maybe. But, like, it doesn't take away from Elle's sacrifice in any way. It doesn't take away from that story beat. And
No.
yet, it also does give us resolution for Millie specifically, and for that character. This idea, I mean, it's a little bit like the state up farm. I mean, the farm upstate where we send all our dogs, I guess. But she's got this. It makes me think of New Asgard, where the
Yeah.
Asgardians go in the MCU, right? They're all in this, like, perfect, surrounded by waterfalls, little village or whatever. But, like, listen, I talk a lot about my beliefs of theology and my belief in an afterlife.
That's not
It
too
doesn't
shabby.
matter. It doesn't matter whether it's true or not, right? It
Yeah.
is the peace and the value that the story provides for me.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
that was exactly what Mike does in that moment. And that's what
It's so
the
great.
storytellers do
I
in
thought
that
it was
moment.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Them putting all of them putting their books up, that was about destroyed me. And then
I was fine with it. But wait, Kelly fucking wrote a thread about it and said she had made it through the whole episode, but it occurred to her that our oldest son, who has a weekly Saturday night D&D game that he is at right now as you and I record this,
Oh.
he's going to play his last game with his buddies, and then he's going to go to college, and that'll be the last time they ever play together. Someday, maybe
Yeah.
not this summer specifically, but it just like
Yep.
everything else. There's a time you do it for the last time, and you don't know until it's
Until it's done. Yep. And then when the when Holly and her friends come running down to start their game, I just was like, what a perfect full circle fucking story. Like, my God. I, you know, I am I this was for me. This series was for me. This series was 100%. I mean, I'm your target audience for this. And they did everything I needed them to do.
Oh, we forgot to mention him earlier in the cameos. Fucking Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund
Yes, Robert Englund.
playing Daddy Creel.
I love Robert Englund so much. Oh my
I
God.
do too.
Freddy Krueger. I've been watching Nightmare on Elm Street since I was like 8. I was in second grade drawing pictures of Freddy Krueger in a cemetery, like during drawing time.
I tried to explain to my girls, though, because obviously they have not seen a Freddy Krueger movie yet at 12.
Good.
But
Very
I
good,
tried
Joel.
to
That's
explain
good
to them
parenting.
how it was so apt that they cast, and I knew they were going to cast him somehow too. I knew as soon as they started talking about Henry Creel, I mean, not Henry Creel, what was Henry's father's name? Anyway, when they started talking about Creel, I was like, oh, I know who's going to be in this. I know who's going to be in this, because the character what was happening in the season was so clearly influenced by the Freddy Krueger movies,
Yeah.
right? That is, somebody's being attacked in the nighttime, and these kids are ending up murdered because of what's happening in their minds, et cetera, et
Broken up
cetera.
to bits. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
the way all of that played on all of those horror tropes, like there's so many times throughout the series. Okay, the way that Henry attaches all of the kids with the spout,
Oh,
that's aliens, right? And
yeah.
they're in the cocoons,
Well, and
like
it's very like
in
it,
Aliens.
it too, like
Yes, good
when
call.
everybody's strung up in the spider webs and shit.
And the fact that Henry is using kids because he thinks their minds are more susceptible
Mhm.
and,
Yep.
more available to be manipulated.
Ugh.
It just top to bottom, really, really good work, honestly. If you haven't finished it, if you had also heard some bad things about the series finale or the last season, don't poo-poo all of that and
Yeah,
go
just
watch it
give it
and
a
get done with it.
go
It's
ahead
really
and
good.
finish it. Finish the good story. It was really well done. I was very happy.
All right, we got something new that we're going to be starting next week, folks. For Afterlife, we're going to be talking about Castle Rock on
I'm so
Hulu.
excited to rewatch this. I never
I am
finished the second season
I
either.
haven't either.
So I'm very excited to go back and finish that, but I loved the first season of that so much. And I really was into the second season. I don't know why I quit watching it. I don't know what happened, but
There was a lot going on. I believe that was like around maybe the beginning of COVID or the first
oh,
of COVID when
that
that
would
came
make
out too.
sense.
So like, yeah, there was all sorts of things
I
going on.
got
But
distracted by Tiger King is what happened.
I will say this series being a real anthology and not having necessarily a direct connection from season to season, I think is one of those things that might be concerning for HBO with their work of Welcome to Derry, which, by the way, we did get a little bit of news on that front. I'll mention it here since we just covered it on the Afterlife segments. Casey Blige, the creative head at HBO, came out and said it's not in limbo. They're just working on the story. They won't put out a green light because Andy Muschietti and his team,
Are
they
still
just don't know
working.
exactly what they're doing on season 2. Exactly. They don't have it locked down, and so they're not going to start until they do. The good news is, other than Bill Skarsgård, for instance, they don't have a lot of carrying over cast
No.
season to season, probably. So there's not as much of a timeline pressure on that.
I
I
mean,
hate that we don't get shows every year, 22 episodes a pop,
so
but that's
annoying.
just not the way that it works. Yeah.
No, I've already burned through the first part of this new season of Bridgerton, and I did that in like one afternoon. Good.
Okay,
Give
but
me
see, Bridgerton's another one. I've saved the whole damn thing. I haven't even started it yet, so
what's very
I'm
fun.
got a lot
I
there
did
waiting for
I
me.
did what I love to do, which is I started it out of order.
Okay, I really in season 3, I think is the one that I want. There was one that I almost got me, and I almost started it out of order myself. So
Yeah,
maybe that's just what I'll do since you did it too.
I did. I
Um,
started it with 3. I started with season 3 because the lead that year was I
from
love
Dairy
her
Girls.
from Dairy Girls, yeah. And
Yeah.
so I was like fucking pumped. I was like, I'm totally gonna watch this now. And then I was like, oh my God, this is fabulous. And then I was like, I gotta go back and watch all of it. And then I was reading them too because my brain is obsessive like that. So
All right, so we will be back next week. We're going to be talking about episode 2 of Interview with a Vampire in our regular episode. And then in the Afterlife segment, we'll be talking about episode 1 of season 1 of Castle Rock. I say Hulu. Yeah, I think Hulu is about to close everywhere, and you're going to have to get it through your Disney Plus app, whether you're a Hulu subscriber only. That's the weird one, is that you can get the Disney Plus app, but not have any of the Disney stuff if you
it's
don't pay
very
for it.
strange. It's very
Yeah.
strange. But here we
Anyway.
are in this world where we're buying cable again.
It's just pay for the $85 package and be glad you can get it. All right, until we talk to you again, we have been your hosts. I'm Joel,
I'm Ashley.
and we are the Articulate Coven. Don't forget, you can get all of this early, ad-free, and more often at articulatecoven.com/join. $2 or more a month gets you access to everything we do early and ad-free. Thanks again for watching. Like the video and share it with your friends.